The gymnasium of Westlake High School buzzed with excitement as the final buzzer sounded. The home team had secured a nail-biting victory against their crosstown rivals, and 17-year-old Marcus Chen had scored the winning three-pointer with just seconds remaining on the clock. The crowd erupted, rushing onto the court as teammates hoisted Marcus onto their shoulders. Coach David Reeves smiled proudly from the sidelines. Marcus wasn't just the team's star point guard, he was a straight-A student with a promising future and scholarship offers from several prestigious universities. The kid had overcome so much after losing his father 2 years ago, channeling his grief into basketball and academics. "Great game, Chen," Coach Reeves called out as the celebration continued. Marcus flashed his characteristic bright smile and gave a thumbs up. "Team meeting tomorrow at 4, the coach added before heading to his office to pack up. By 10:30 p.m., the gymnasium had mostly cleared out. Players showered, changed, and trickled out to waiting parents or their own vehicles. Marcus texted his mother that he'd be home soon. He just wanted to practice a few more shots while the gym was quiet. His mother, Lisa Chen, a nurse working the night shift at Westlake Memorial, responded with a quick, "Be safe, love you." It was the last message she would receive from her son. At midnight, Lisa called home from her break at the hospital, surprised that Marcus hadn't messaged her that he'd arrived. The call went straight to voicemail. Assuming he'd fallen asleep without charging his phone, something he'd done before, she made a mental note to talk to him about it tomorrow. By morning, Marcus's bed remained undisturbed. Lisa called Marcus's friends, then Coach Reeves, then, finally, the police. Marcus Chen had vanished. Security footage from the school showed Marcus staying behind as everyone left. The final clip captured him walking toward the rear exit that led to the outdoor courts and the woods beyond. A shortcut. He sometimes took home, then nothing. His car remained in the school parking lot. His backpack was found in his locker. His wallet containing $40 and his ID sat untouched inside. The first day of searching yielded nothing. Volunteers from the school and community combed the woods behind the gymnasium. Police brought in dogs that tracked Marcus's scent to the edge of the tree line before losing it. Divers checked the creek that ran through the woods, finding nothing. Lisa Chen appeared on local news, her eyes red from crying, pleading for any information about her son. "He's all I have left," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Please, if anyone knows anything." The community rallied. Missing posters with Marcus's smiling face appeared throughout Westlake. The basketball team canceled their upcoming game, dedicating their time to the search instead. But as the second day passed with no new leads, a heavy sense of dread settled over the town. What had happened to Marcus Chen after he walked out that door? On the third day after Marcus's disappearance, Coach Reeves couldn't sleep. At dawn, he drove to the school, drawn by an inexplicable need to retrace Marcus's potential path. The police had already searched the area thoroughly, but something kept nagging at him. A memory of conversations with Marcus about a secluded spot in the woods where he sometimes went to think, especially after his father passed away. The morning air was crisp as Reeves made his way past the outdoor courts and into the woods. Golden sunlight filtered through the trees, creating dappled patterns on the forest floor. Birds called overhead, their songs a stark contrast to the weight in his heart. "Marcus used to mention a lightning-struck oak," Reeves muttered to himself, scanning the tree line. "Said it looked like a hand reaching for the sky." After 20 minutes of hiking, he spotted it, an ancient oak tree, its top split and blackened. From a lightning strike years ago, its remaining branches indeed resembling outstretched fingers. Near its base was a fallen log that served as a natural bench. As Reeves approached, something caught his eye, a glint of light reflecting off an object partially hidden under scattered leaves. He knelt down, brushing away the debris, and his breath caught in his throat. It was Marcus's phone, a distinctive blue case with a basketball-themed pop socket. The screen was cracked, but when Reeves pressed the power button, it lit up briefly before dying again, the battery nearly depleted. With shaking hands, he called Detective Sarah Morgan, the lead investigator on Marcus's case. "I found his phone," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "In the woods behind the court, by that lightning-struck oak near Crescent Creek." Within 30 minutes, the peaceful clearing transformed into a crime scene. Yellow tape cordoned off the area as officers and forensic technicians carefully processed the scene. They found subtle signs of disturbance. Broken twigs, compressed soil suggesting multiple people had been there, and most disturbing, small traces of what appeared to be blood on some nearby rocks. Detective Morgan examined the phone, now sealed, in an evidence bag. "The lab will extract any data they can," she explained to Coach Reeves. "This is the first real lead we've had." As they stood at the edge of the clearing, Morgan's radio crackled to life. An officer was requesting her presence further into the woods, where a search team had discovered something else. Marcus's basketball shoes, one near the creek's edge, another submerged in the shallow water 20 yards downstream. "The currents, not strong enough to have carried it that far," Morgan observed. "Someone moved these items deliberately." By afternoon, the news of the discoveries spread through Westlake. Reporters gathered at the police perimeter while helicopters circled overhead. At the Chen home, Lisa clutched her son's team jacket as Detective Morgan explained the developments. "We're getting closer to finding out what happened," Morgan assured her. "The phone could tell us a lot." "But you haven't found him," Lisa whispered, her eyes vacant with exhaustion and fear. "Not yet," Morgan admitted. "But now we have somewhere to focus our search." As daylight waned, powerful floodlights illuminated the woods as the search continued. Everyone felt the same unspoken dread that what they might find would forever change the peaceful town of Westlake. By nightfall, the police technical team had managed to extract data from Marcus's damaged phone. Detective Morgan, Coach Reeves, and Lisa Chen gathered in a small conference room at the police station, the tension palpable as the tech analyst connected the recovered information to a monitor. "The phone was nearly dead when we found it, but the data was intact," explained the analyst, a young woman with glasses and a serious expression. "There are several text messages and social media interactions from the hours before and immediately after the game that might be relevant." The screen displayed a timeline of Marcus's communications. Most were ordinary: coordination with teammates, responses to congratulations after the win, and the final text to his mother. But starting at 10:42 p.m., 3 minutes after that last message to Lisa, the exchanges took a disturbing turn. A series of messages came from an unknown number. 10:42 p.m. "I saw what you did. Meet me behind the outdoor courts in 15 minutes or everyone will know." 10:43 p.m. "Don't ignore me. I have proof." 10:44 p.m. "Your perfect life won't be so perfect when Coach Reeves sees this." Marcus had responded only once. 10:47 p.m. "I don't know what you're talking about. Who is this?" The unknown number replied. 10:48 p.m. "You know exactly who this is. 15 minutes. Come alone or I send everything." There were no further exchanges. Lisa's hand covered her mouth in shock. What were they talking about? What did they think Marcus did? Detective Morgan leaned forward. "We were able to trace the unknown number. It's a burner phone purchased with cash at a convenience store near Riverdale, the town where your rival team is from. The clerk remembers selling it to a teenager 2 days before the game, but the security footage was overwritten." "Someone was blackmailing him," Coach Reeves said, his face pale. "But Marcus was a good kid. I don't understand what anyone could have had on him." The analyst continued, showing that Marcus had conducted several searches in the minutes after receiving those texts. 10:50 p.m. What to do if someone is blackmailing you. 10:52 p.m. How to tell if someone is bluffing. 10:54 p.m. Riverdale High basketball roster. He was trying to figure out who it was, Morgan noted, and it seems he suspected someone from the opposing team. The final piece of information came from Marcus's location data. His phone had moved from the gymnasium to the outdoor courts at approximately 11:05 p.m., then into the woods, stopping at the lightning-struck oak at 11:17 p.m. The phone remained there until it was found. So he went to meet this person, Lisa said, her voice barely above a whisper. But why there? Why not just call me or the police? Coach Reeves shook his head. Teenagers sometimes think they can handle things themselves, especially Marcus. He's always been independent, even more so since his father died. Detective Morgan pulled up one last piece of information, a partial recording from the phone's voice memo app. It had been activated at 11:19 p.m., likely by accident, and captured 38 seconds of audio before stopping. The room fell silent as she pressed play. At first, there was just the sound of forest ambience, rustling leaves, distant water. Then, Marcus's voice. Didn't do anything wrong. I don't know what you think you have, but a second voice, distorted as if deliberately disguised. Everyone thinks you're so perfect. The star who can do no wrong. Marcus again. This is stupid. I'm leaving. Sounds of movement, a scuffle. Marcus, get off me. What are you? A thud, then silence for several seconds before the recording ended. Lisa broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. Coach Reeves put his arm around her shoulders, his own eyes glistening with tears. Detective Morgan's expression hardened. We're upgrading this to a probable abduction, and based on the evidence, we're focusing on students from Riverdale High, particularly those who played in Friday's game. As they left the conference room, Morgan's phone rang. It was the search team at the woods. They had found something else, a Riverdale High Letterman jacket, partially buried under leaves and dirt, a quarter-mile from where the phone was discovered. The case was breaking open, but the most important question remained unanswered. Where was Marcus Chen? The discovery of the Riverdale High Letterman jacket sent the investigation into overdrive. By morning, Detective Morgan had obtained warrants to interview every player on the Riverdale basketball team, focusing on those who had direct confrontations with Marcus during the game. The jacket belonged to Tyler Dawson, Riverdale center, who had a heated exchange with Marcus during the third quarter after a particularly aggressive play. Initial questioning revealed that Tyler had reported his jacket stolen from the locker room after the game. His alibi checked out. Security. Footage showed him leaving with his team and stopping for dinner with several teammates at a diner 20 miles away. But one player was conspicuously difficult to locate, Jason Miller, Riverdale's shooting guard, who had been outplayed by Marcus throughout the game. Jason had been benched in the final quarter after accumulating fouls, and several teammates recalled his visible frustration. When officers arrived at the Miller home, Jason's parents were shocked to learn he was a person of interest. They revealed that Jason had left the previous evening to stay with his cousin in neighboring Glenwood, supposedly for help with a science project. A call to the cousin confirmed Jason had never arrived. By mid-afternoon, a statewide alert was issued for Jason Miller. Investigators searching his bedroom discovered a disturbing shrine of newspaper clippings about Marcus, stories of his athletic achievements, scholarship offers, and community service awards. Many were defaced with angry scribbles. A journal detailed Jason's growing obsession with Marcus, whom he viewed as unfairly glorified, while his own talents went unrecognized. As the search for Jason intensified, Coach Reeves received an unexpected visitor at his office. Elijah Washington, Marcus's best friend and teammate. "Coach," Elijah began hesitantly, "there's something I should have said earlier. After the game Friday, I overheard Marcus arguing with someone on the phone in the locker room. He mentioned something about how the footage doesn't prove anything, and that everyone trash talks during games. I thought it was just some stupid rivalry thing, but now this new information pointed to a potential motive. Review of game footage showed an intense verbal exchange between Marcus and Jason during the second quarter. Whatever was said wasn't captured by microphones, but the expression on Jason's face was one of utter humiliation. By evening, Jason's car was spotted by a state trooper at a remote cabin in Millridge Forest, 30 miles from Westlake. The property belonged to Jason's grandfather, who had passed away years earlier. The family had been trying to sell it, but it remained vacant. As tactical teams surrounded the cabin, Detective Morgan took a calculated risk. She called Jason's phone. To everyone's surprise, he answered. "I know you're outside," he said, his voice eerily calm. "I saw the lights." Jason, we need to talk about Marcus," Morgan replied, signaling to her team to trace the exact location of the phone. "We know he's with you." A long pause followed. "He ruined everything," Jason finally said. "Do you know what it's like to work your entire life for something, only to have it snatched away by someone who gets everything handed to him?" "No one's been hurt yet, Jason. This can still end well for everyone." Another pause. "It's too late for that." The call disconnected. Seconds later, thermal imaging detected 2 heat signatures in the cabin's basement. The tactical team moved in. What they found in the basement shocked even the most seasoned officers. Marcus Chen was alive, bound to a chair, dehydrated and bruised, but conscious. Jason sat in a corner, a knife in his hand, seemingly resigned. To his fate, the story emerged in fragments. Jason had become obsessed with Marcus after losing a scholarship opportunity to him the previous year. During the game, Marcus had unknowingly triggered Jason's rage by mentioning the scholarship during their on-court exchange. Jason had recorded parts of their confrontation on his phone, then manipulated the audio to make it sound like Marcus was using performance-enhancing drugs. That was the proof he had threatened Marcus with, a fabricated recording that could have potentially ruined Marcus's reputation and scholarship prospects. When Marcus showed up at the meeting spot, Jason had knocked him unconscious, then used Marcus's own car to transport him to the cabin, returning later to plant false evidence in the woods. For 3 days, Jason had kept Marcus captive, vacillating between releasing him and ending his own life as he realized the magnitude of what he'd done. The discovery of the phone had made the news, and Jason knew it was only a matter of time before he was caught. The reunion between Marcus and his mother at Westlake Memorial Hospital was emotional. Despite his ordeal, doctors expected him to make a full physical recovery. The psychological healing would take longer. "I never thought he actually had anything on me," Marcus told Detective Morgan from his hospital bed. "I just went to confront whoever it was, to end the harassment. I never expected—" "You couldn't have known," Morgan assured him. Jason Miller had been planning this for months. His resentment had twisted into something dangerous. A week later, as Marcus returned to school, the community lined the entrance, applauding his resilience. Coach Reeves walked beside him, a protective hand on his shoulder. "Basketball seems pretty trivial after something like this," Marcus admitted as they approached the gymnasium. "It is," Reeves agreed, "but it's also what brought this community together to find you. It's what kept your mother going, knowing that an entire town was united in bringing you home." As they entered the gym, the basketball team surrounded Marcus, their relief and joy evident. Life would eventually return to normal, but not unchanged. The town had been reminded of what truly mattered. A mother had rediscovered the strength she never knew she possessed. And a young man had learned that even in the darkest woods, connections to others could ultimately lead you home. In the weeks that followed, Marcus established a peer support program for student athletes dealing with pressure and mental health challenges. The program's name, Beyond the Court, a reminder that there is always more to life than winning games and that everyone, regardless of their achievements, battles unseen struggles. The lightning-struck oak in the woods became a symbol of resilience for the community, damaged but still standing, reaching toward the light despite its scars.